start with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
The hype for Shadow the Hedgehog couldn't be more at an all-time high. With the Sonic 3 film and the Shadow Generations game on the horizon, 2024 is the year of the industry's best doppelganger.
I'll show you the true power of chaos control!
So what better time is it to revisit his first debut in Sonic Adventure 2, an undebatable fan favorite title. Some fans would say it's 3D Sonic at its best, and I would definitely fall into that category. But either way, I think we can all agree that it's a relevant game for the franchise. Being the second outing for the Blue Blur in a 3D platformer, taking what worked in the first Sonic Adventure game and refining it. Love it or hate it, Sonic Adventure 2 has cast a huge shadow across the franchise, and I mean that in every sense of the word. This was one of the first few titles that actually allowed you to play as the heroes and the villains of the story. There are countless Sonic games, but SA2 manages to stand out due to its story and gameplay. Even if you haven't played another Sonic game, new players can easily fall in love with the franchise by just what this game has to offer. There's competitive modes that are great for couch co-op. There's even this amazing pet simulator where you get to raise these cute little things called Chow and make them fight and race each other. It's crazy, and it's just as fun as the normal gameplay. But let's go grab our red sneakers and hit the streets of San Francisco to see what this game's story has to offer. Sonic Adventure 2 has a hero and dark option as far as campaigns go. Each will have you completing a level with a small cutscene to break it all up. You get some upgrades that give the game some great replay value. Time to time, the game throws a boss fight at you, which most are pretty mediocre and repetitive. But it's mainly the scope and the pacing that makes this story so good. Eggman has awakened Shadow, who presumes to be the ultimate life form.
I'll be waiting for you in the central control room on the Space Colony Ark.
The two create an alliance that will later include the treasure hunter, Rouge the Bat, and the three of them create this outstanding team that I wish we got to see more of. Eggman wants to conquer the Earth, no surprise there, while Shadow wants revenge on the people of Earth for what happened to his friend.
I promise you, revenge!
Rouge helps offset Eggman's repulsiveness and Shadow's theatrics, and appears to be working at an angle.
What's he doing up there anyway? Doesn't matter. It's my mission to find out what he's up to.
And it's up to our heroes to thwart the villain's plans. However, Sonic is being blamed for the crimes committed by Shadow, causing him to be thrown in prison. And this time, it's Tails who's busting him out.
Wait for me, okay, Sonic? I'm on my way.
And there's Knuckles, who's just kind of dragged into the mix because he's a staple Sonic character at this point. Just like in the first adventure game, the Master Emerald has been shattered and it's up to him to restore it. Now, back to the gameplay. There's 3 distinct game styles that you cycle through, so if you don't like one of them, you don't have to suffer through the same game mode over and over. This keeps things fresh and gives the player a breather. The game styles are Sonic and Shadow's speed levels, Tails and Eggman's shooter levels, and Knuckles and Rouge's hunting levels. Let's talk about the latter first. There's one technical issue that brings the entire hunting levels down, and that's the broken emerald meter. It only tracks one emerald piece at a time, so it makes these levels seem way more like a chore. You could be right beside of an emerald, but it won't tell you because the game wants you to find the other one first. That's ridiculous. As far as the characters go, I really like Knuckles and Rouge. Knuckles feels the most tacked on as his own mission with restoring the Master Emerald. There's only 1 or 2 missions where he helps out the rest of the gang. Rouge provides Team Dark with some levity. She seems to be the only one who doesn't really want to hurt people, and she's just there for those pretty gems. Moving on to the next game style. I actually really like the shooting levels. The platforming is done really well, forcing the player to create their own way to advance through the level by shooting down objects to create things like bridges. I thought that was really innovative. Not only that, but it's nice to get to enjoy the level design. The speed levels will have you flying through the environments, but here you can really take it all in. The only thing I wish they would have implemented from the start was the hover feature. This allowed for more fluid gameplay. There were several times I had to come to a complete stop to wait for a platform, and when you have to come to a complete stop in a Sonic game, you're not doing your job. Momentum should always be a factor, no matter which gameplay. The only other complaint I have is that annoying trigger button sound. It's so loud, I wish they would have softened that up a bit. Other than that, I really enjoyed playing as these characters. Tails feels so much more independent. Now seeing Eggman more as a rival.
This time I'll let you go, but the next time we meet, you won't be so lucky.
Speaking of which, this is the first time we got to play as Eggman, and blowing things up as him was extremely satisfying and true to his character.
That was all too easy. Let's take a look at what my grandfather was working on.
But now, let's talk about the full fat honey in the game, which are the speed levels. This is what truly brings people back. I'm not going to say anything bad about the boost formula in most modern Sonic games, but the level design and the way the characters control here feels so good. Sometimes the camera angles suck, but other than that, the game provides a challenge with enemies and platforming that works well with Sonic's speed. Not only that, but each level uses some unforgettable set pieces that are just ingrained with the characters now. Like that giant military truck in City Escape, or the Golden Gate Bridge in Radical Highway, swinging from vines in White Jungle, the rocket at Meadow Harbor. Not only that, but there is so much variety in the stage aesthetics. We journey from cities to forests, oceans, deserts, canyons. You get to see it all, and it all culminates in an epic showdown in space. Now, it might be cliched to take a franchise into space to raise the stakes, but I think it works pretty well here. It certainly isn't the first time that the franchise has gone into orbit, and the development team really utilized all of the spectacle and gimmicks they could in this space, no pun intended. You have gravity wells that will throw you out of the arc, asteroids that will literally crash into you. If you fall off a platform, you will literally plummet back to the earth on fire. Like, this game goes hard all the way until the very end. The only gameplay style that I think suffered here was the hunting levels. I mean, these levels were way too vast to find 3 emeralds. Again, if that one technical issue was fixed, then I think they would be way better. I think they were onto something with the gravity mechanics, but they were better realized in Eggman's and Tails levels. Like, Cosmic Wall is amazing because Eggman can just straight up fly in these. It allows for the player to find different paths and shortcuts, and it made me think that this is probably the step in the right direction to take his gameplay. But oh my god, the speed levels in space are some of my favorite final levels in a video game of all time. It's some of the best and innovative level design I've had the pleasure of beating 100 times over. Never has a final level felt so satisfying. There's plenty of challenges from the rails and the platforms to jump on, but it's all awesome. I mean, you're playing as Sonic grinding on a neon rail in space. What else do you want? I really think that one of these levels should have made it into Sonic Generations, but it looks like we're going to get them in Shadow Generations. And how else can we top off a final level? Well, with a satisfying final boss.
You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were in exploded in space.
You know, what can I say? I die hard.
So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see. But you know, I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end.
Racing against Shadow and Sonic as the space colony collapses around you to this music is just the definition of cool.
All right, Shadow. Time for me to finish this.
each hedgehog is out to show who's superior, and once you beat this boss level on both Hero and Dark mode, the game gives you a true final ending. Now, for the sake of brevity, I haven't gone over the story beat for beat, simply because it follows the generic plot of heroes foiling the villains. But it's here where things get interesting. It turns out that Rouge is a government spy whose mission was to investigate Eggman and learn more about the mysterious space colony Ark and the research that was done up there.
This is it. Research Project Shadow, the ultimate life form. Let's see now.
It's here where Shadow was created by Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. However, the Guardian Units of Nations, aka GUN, what an acronym, wanted to keep the research private and plugged any potential leaks. So, yeah, they off Shadow's only friend, Maria, who's also Eggman's cousin? Okay. Up until this point, Shadow thought Maria's last wish was revenge, but it was actually to protect the people of Earth.
Shadow, I beg of you, please, do it for me. For
Maria!
the future. For all people who live on that planet, give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world. Sayonara, Shadow the
That's what I
Hedgehog.
promised her. And I must keep that promise. That's what
Shadow?
Maria wished for. I've got to go now. I have to keep my promise to Maria and you.
Creating one of the most beloved anti-hero arcs in video game history. Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather, is actually the one who wants revenge, and despite being dead, he produced countermeasures to hurl the space colony out of orbit and straight into the Earth, which, you know, would be catastrophic. Meaning your last few missions are the heroes and villains teaming up to stop this new foe. And the gameplay here is kicked up to 11. This final mission where you have to use 5 of the characters is brutal, but so worthy of one of the final levels. And it culminates with Shadow facing off against another prototype of the ultimate life form, the Bio Lizard. But the Bio Lizard proves to be too powerful for Shadow alone, and combines itself with the space colony. No, I'm not making this up. But it's here where Sonic and Shadow begin their bromance by powering up to Super Sonic and Super Shadow, leading to one of the coolest battles in space.
Sonic, you're out of range. You will lose your super.
Shadow, everyone here is rooting for you. Good luck, and give them trouble.
Now, Shadow!
Chaos control!
It's a bit bittersweet.
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Shadow sacrifices himself to save the day, while the rest of the cast just figure out how they're going to move on.
Where is Shadow? Do you really think that the professor created him, Shadow, to carry out the revenge on all those who live here on Earth?
He was what he was, a brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet.
This bittersweet ending that the franchise has also gives this game a little bit more distinction among the other Sonic titles that are out there. It's a bit more mature, and for people who are growing with the franchise, I think it's refreshing. So I come for the gameplay, but I stay for that amazing music and art style. Speaking of art style, let's talk about these characters. But not only is the gameplay great, but it's got the best cast of characters in any Sonic game in my opinion. come at me. I mean, seriously, I just love all of these characters. They're so rich with identity, which brings me to my first point. This game gives off such a confidence that you can't help to fall for its charm. Everything from the menu layout, art, the music direction, it's just so bold and vibrant that you can just vibe with it. Seriously, I think it's these aspects alone that's made this game age so well. Sure, the low polygon characters don't really hold up to today's standards, but hey, that won't stop me from appreciating a great game. In fact, I think the character models look great thanks to the art style they stuck with and evolved from Adventure 1. We've seen so many renditions of these characters now in 2024, but back in 2001, they were still ironing out what the character would look like when he jumped into 3D. So when these games first came out, it was our first time seeing them in this form. And when you compare them to the other games that came out in that time period, they look really good, to be fair. Sure, there's some goofs in this game as far as the cutscenes go, with questionable motion capture that just makes you cringe time to time. Like, did this man just scratch his ass? And for a lot of the scenes, there's voice overlap where characters are just talking over one another. But then again, that happens in real life.
landing
No! The hatch doors are
Don't
open.
sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
Master
mean, don't
Emeralds.
sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up.
But this is easily forgivable because the voice cast is amazing here, and everyone sounds as they should. Tails is a little bit more questionable though.
The door's locked. We need a key to get in there.
No problem. We can find it. Right, Knuckles?
What? Why do I have to find the key?
I have to highlight Knuckles though, because in modern iterations he's always stereotyped as the tough guy, and I like how in this game he's not put into that corner yet.
I saw Eggman go inside the pyramid. And more importantly, I saw that Batgirl go inside with him as well.
But the cherry on top of the audio in this game is definitely that sweet soundtrack. Sega went through the trouble to give every single character their own music genre. So whatever level you're in, it's going to be playing that style of music. Sonic gets this feel-good rock. Knuckles has this old school rap. And Rouge the Bat has this timeless, cool R&B sound to it.
Just let it go. You just don't know when to give up, do you?
The mood just lines up with each character perfectly. Music has always been fundamental to this franchise, but in this game, the music is treated as a tool to help bring these characters to life. Sega and Sonic Team went all out on giving each level and character their own unique sound.
Citizens of Earth, lend me your ears and listen to me very carefully.
So not only do these characters have their own main themes, but each one of their levels also caters to that specific genre. Man, I just think that is really cool. So as soon as you load in the game, it is already cooking with the visuals and the audio.
Attention all units. Suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the suspect.
But the other thing I want to point out is how perfect of a sequel this game is. It really embellishes on the 2 in the title. You've got 2 hedgehogs, you got 2 main stories, you have 2-player competitive modes. I just love the duality of this game. It really feels like The Empire Strikes Back for this era of Sonic games. It's not afraid to go dark and a little bit more mature with the themes, and hey, I'm all here for it. Alright, just to cap off this video, I just want to say like how great some of these older games are. So many franchises feel fatigued and lost their identity, so it's nice to go back and see what made them special to begin with. I'll definitely be picking up a copy of Shadow Generation, so maybe you'll see a video on it. But if you do want to, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Seriously, all the support that I can get really helps. I love video editing and I love making videos, but boy, it is taxing and it does take a lot of time. So any support, guys, I'd really appreciate that. But hey, until next time, y'all be good. Peace.